was kind of reluctant on doing this video. There was a post I made in a group, and yeah, there were people who understood it, but the amount of people who got in their feelings, yeah, that was quite interesting. So I'm gonna read y'all what this post I made. Post says, "Wise men don't seek happiness. We seek fulfillment. Happiness is an emotion for women to experience. Why? Because it fluctuates like their emotions. Fulfillment brings peace, allowing us to enjoy our work and what happens within the journey when we reflect. This is how we remain consistent. That's why we do not move off of our square. Too many women don't understand this. This is why so many women leave relationships, because they think happiness should be created for them to enjoy life. The minute they aren't happy, they abandon ship. Wise men understand that life brings you consistent trials with happy moments occurring at inconsistent times. Unfortunately, that form of inconsistent isn't logically understood by women who get emotionally triggered by the inconsistencies. The fulfillment of men will bring happiness to others. His objectives are met while he sees what he's doing is a benefit for others too." So, of course, this put mainly a lot of the women in that group in an uproar about men needing happiness. And there was so much so that there was so much going on within it. It was what was really telling, and I see it to be the sign of the times, is that a lot of people in today's time, when they don't agree with you, they want to end it. They want to end whatever it is you're doing. They want to cancel whatever it is you have going on. Like, there were people who's like, "Oh, administrators, you need to nuke this post." Of course, with them being in the uproar, but even though there were more people liking the post than there were people disliking it, it was quite a few hundred people that liked the post. But the amount of people that were just disliking it to cause the administrators to actually delete this says a lot about people in their relationships, because it specifically told me that when things aren't going the way you want it to go, you want to flex on people or to get your way because you don't agree. And we live in a society now where a lot of people want to say, let's just agree to disagree. And to me, it's flat out balderdash. It's just flat out nonsense. And this is why we have an issue within our relationships, because no one respects anyone else's thought process, or better yet, have the maturity enough to say, okay, you said that, that's how you feel, I can just keep moving. I mean, I do that all the time. People say stuff, I see it, whatever. I'm not moved by it, which is with the happiness. I understand what I wrote. I live by this, because I don't get off my square, because I know what it is that I'm doing. I know there are certain marks, certain visions, certain goals, various aspects of my life where there are things that I'm doing that is where my fulfillment is. I'm working towards that. I have those objectives. I understand that. Like this what I'm doing now. This is something I'm working towards, basically for my son. My son's over here operating the camera over here. He's operating it, making sure the stuff is right. This business has his name on it. Once it comes to fruition of everything that I've envisioned, there will be fulfillment for me in it. So therefore, the end result will bring me my happiness. But I understand that there are going to be trials, tribulations, even with him learning this stuff. He's not going to do certain things the way I want it to be done. He may not catch on to certain things. Will it be frustrating at times? Yes, that is possible. But the end result is where we go in time. This is why I always talk about time. Time is so important because time will show you things. It's going to reveal things, and you'll get to see these things manifest. Things just don't manifest like that. It's very seldom that they instantly show it that way. So therefore, being a wise man, you have to understand that there are going to be inconsistencies in life. As a wise man, I understand that. My son is not going to do this correctly all the time. There are going to be things that I'm not going to do correctly all the time. Therefore, it may be inconsistent. Life is going to deal you certain blows that cause things, what some may believe to be happiness, to make it be inconsistent. Because that is how balance is formed. That is how you grow. You grow that way. With tests and trials coming into your life to turn around and to create moments that are not favorable. This is how you grow. It's so funny. It's funny and it's sad at the same time that people just don't understand this. Like, how do you not well, clearly most who don't understand it are just not taught. Just flat out not taught. That you have to understand, like, challenges will come. There will be loss of loved ones, which will turn around and make your emotions be all over the place. But now at this point in my life, my emotions don't even get all over the place when I lose someone dear. I may cry for a moment, but then I'm instantly in the vein of remembering the things that I got from them and making sure that I'm applying those things to make myself better. And then I'm constantly dissecting. I'm just flat out constantly dissecting various things that have transpired in my life. And it's so amazing that I do that so much so now that when I actually talk to other people, they're like, man, dude, you hit me at the right time. I was just such and such and such. Like, it happened twice today. It happened twice a day. So, man, as a man, dude, man, my fulfillment definitely brings me peace. Because as I was just saying with my son, I know it takes time. I would be a fool to think that he's going to, the things that I tell him to do, that he's going to get it right out of the gate. He's not. I'm in my 40s. He's just in the early, just getting to preteens. He is not going to get everything that I tell him. And it would be, like I said, foolish for me to think that, oh, okay, I said such and such and such, you're going to get it. No. I understand. There are things that I got to keep saying over and over again. Some days I don't like having to say over and over again. But it's just the nature of it. As human beings, especially in the early stages, it takes us time to actually grasp certain things. There were things in my life that it took me a while to grasp. And there were things that I saw as a kid. Now I'm a grown man. And I remember my parents and those elders in front of me would say certain things. Now as I'm an adult, it now makes sense. But there were times where I was inconsistent as a child. And my dad didn't like certain things that I did. But now he looks at me like, man, I'm so proud of you. I get that a lot now. It's like, man, you turn out to be a lot better than me. He has his fulfillment. When we have our conversations, I make sure I try to talk to my dad every week. At least, and I know when I talk to him, it's going to be a couple hours. He's going to be on the phone for 2 hours. I prepare myself for that. So, and I actually enjoy it because, like I said, I understand where I am in life. I understand that when I speak to him, there's going to come a day where I won't be able to speak to him anymore. I've already prepared myself for that. So what do? I draw from those conversations. I've already prepared myself to draw from those conversations currently. I draw from them currently to improve me. Why? Because I come from him. I'm his seed. So which we've had conversations where he's like, man, I didn't know that, but you did the same exact thing that I did, and I didn't even realize you did that. Never told him, but when we had the conversation, he started laughing like, yeah, you do some things like I do. So therefore, in knowing that, I draw from the conversations, and those conversations give me peace. Why? Because I can see part of my future. When I see and listen to my father, I see part of my future. And I understand, okay, because I have so many conversations with him, I understand where I come from. I understand the possibilities of who I can become and be the addition of who I am added from the components of him, which multiplies or adds to the element of who I am. I understand this stuff, man. And so therefore, when I'm in the things that I do for fulfillment, it's like I don't even really worry about stuff. Because when I'm staying on my square, doing what it is that I'm doing, and I watch people benefit from it. Like there are certain things that I have going on currently, and I'm putting people on. When I put them on, I'm getting a lot of thanks. Like fulfillment, man, fulfillment. That within itself is like, all right, cool, that's good. But I'm not dwelling on the happiness. I'm not out here going seeking happiness. It would be foolish to seek happiness because that which you go to seek, most of the time, you're not prepared for the outcome on the opposite end of the spectrum. The opposite end of the spectrum of happiness is distraught, hurt, anguish. Those are things that are on the other side of it. This is why I don't seek happiness. And as a wise man, it would be foolish for you to seek happiness. You seek fulfillment. And fulfillment has within it goals and aspirations and things you're working towards. And when you work towards those things and you do the work, results manifest. It's really that simple. It's just really that simple, man. And unfortunately, the number one thing that kills relationships when it comes to women is happiness. Their happiness fluctuates. Their emotions are all over the place. And because they seek happiness, which is is an emotional attribute, you're gonna have a problem. You're in a relationship with a woman, and if that's her thing, is seeking happiness, as a man, you're gonna have a problem. It's unfortunate, but it is the way it is. I mean, simply because anytime you seek happiness, like I've been saying for longest, you're going to have those inconsistent moments. And what is the other aspect and component that women complain about? A man being inconsistent. And when you're on this as a man and what I just spoke on, you're not technically going to be inconsistent. You're going to actually be consistent. It's just the inconsistencies of having the happiness which cause a problem. You may have a drought here and there, but whatever is financial or whatever the mess is, it may be some kind of drought. And she's not happy that you guys are in this dry spell. What is she going to say? Oh, I'm not happy. As men, we all know if we say we're not happy, they generally don't care. They'll care though when it comes time for their happiness to be affected. And matter of fact, I had this conversation with my dad when I mentioned this, and he said, well, I mean, I don't know. What happens if the guy's cheating, or what happens if he's on drugs? I said, he's like, oh, they got a good case for it not to be happy. So I was like, well, you just said if the guy's on drugs, you just said if the guy's cheating, you just said if the money and all that stuff is bad. All those things still center around happiness. She's not happy. I mean, who would be happy if the guy was putting his hands on her? That messes with her happiness. So because she's not happy, and because he's putting his hands on her, and that makes her not happy, she's leaving. I mean, I don't care how you put it. Happiness is going to be the result of her going to file divorce or leaving the relationship. It's just, I don't care what scenario you come up with, it's going to go back to the happiness. It's just inevitable, man. Well, the sex was bad. She wasn't happy. Well, he wouldn't clean up after himself. Oh, also you're not happy because he don't clean up, and every time you feel like you're doing all the cleanup. Back to happiness. I don't care, fellas. I don't care what it is that you think, why they do whatever it is they're going to do. It all falls back on happiness, which is why, as a wise man, you should never seek it. Because they're going to have the whole thing covered. They will have the whole aspect of happiness covered. And you will see it. You're going to see it one way or another. I don't care how you feel about it, and whether you like it or not, you're going to see it. And as a wise man, it is not something you should actually be seeking. Well, men should be happy too. Find fulfillment. Find your purpose. Find the things that bring you joy. Well, I know one of mine is. He's sitting right over there working camera. You know, he get on my nerves at times. And I tell him, hey, boy, wait, no, don't do that. He still brings me peace and fulfillment. Because every single day I get up, I'm teaching this boy. Every day. It's a lesson. Every day. And the only way he's going to grow is if I actually teach him every day. Because I have to teach him. It is a mandate. Because when I teach him, I see myself all the time. I have to question myself all the time, whether it's past, present, or future. Because there are things he do that will remind me of something I did, whether I like it or not. I'm mature enough. That's when you actually walk perfectly. You know, perfect is also does mean mature. But, you know, a lot of people don't want to accept that. But when you really do your due diligence homework and go research it, perfect also means mature. There's 20-something definitions for perfect. So in order for me to actually be mature, perfect, I have to honor the fact that the negative things that I see coming from my son. Because some of those things I actually done. Therefore, I have to accept the things that I've done as a child, that whether it was stupid, dumb, or whatever. Yes, I said stupid, dumb, or whatever. I did some stupid stuff. It was stupid. I realize it. It is what it is. How do I perfect that from being done? Therefore, that means I have to look at the details, analyze it, and then turn around and teach it to him to where he can relate to it, and so he cannot do those foolish things. Will he possibly do them? Yes, he will possibly do them. Because children have a tendency of wanting to do the opposite of what you tell them because they want to find out on their own. I know. I did it. I'm sure you all done it too. So therefore, in order to be better, you have to acknowledge these things about yourself. And this is how I find fulfillment. Even when it comes to him. I find fulfillment with him just teaching all the time. It's a constant, I have to constantly teach all the time. Even when I don't feel like it, I still have to teach. He didn't ask to come here. Therefore, he's my responsibility. But when he does stuff that I've seen that he's learned and grasped, I give encouragement. I give him praise, and I give him the gratitude of him actually doing the things that I wanted him to do, or that he's learned to do proficiently. Like all this stuff, he does it fairly well until it's crunch time. Then I just take over and like, hey, okay, no, I ain't got time to wait. And give it to me. Let's go. Just pay attention. That's all I ask. Pay attention so you can get more proficient. But I don't expect him to do certain things when it comes to the audio, video, and all that other stuff very fastly. Because I learned it first. And I learned it first so he can do it. And he can have something that, okay, yeah, by the time he's such and such age, oh, well, I ain't got to really worry about no money. My daddy put me in a position to be at such and such place. Fulfillment. that fulfillment right there will bring me joy. That fulfillment, when I sit back and reflect on the process and the journey, is where, as a wise man, I'll find happiness within that. That will make me happy. It's really that simple, man. So, with that being said, man, I just wanted to actually do a video on this. Probably something I wouldn't normally do, but yeah, man. This happiness thing is not something I do alone. And I remember as a child in early 20s, it was something that I actually thought was necessary. And that's mainly as a male, that's mainly because I was around a lot of women in my family and women around in the church. Yes, grew up in church. I said this before. Parents, both ministers, preachers. So there's a lot of that go on, and it's funny when I was looking at this. I remember actually having a conversation with my dad. I ended up mentioning the fact that I remember him saying, you're around women too much. You act like a girl." Never understood it until I got older what he really meant. The emotions kick in too much. And anytime as a man or a male you're around women more, you're going to be more emotional rather than be more logical, which is why they made that statement, "You act like a girl." Really wasn't so much what it is they're doing, is just a whole emotional state in which operating more on your emotions, you showing that you have a lack of control. And I do remember as a kid, boy, they would make sport to try to get me mad and see me go haywire. It would be hilarious for them. It would never be hilarious for me. But they always would pick the kid they knew who was faster than me. So like, all right, you're going to run from him. You're going to run from him. Don't let him catch you, because if he catch you, it's over with. So, yeah, man, like I said, certain things you start to understand the older you get. If things make sense. But with that being said, I ain't gonna keep going on, because I can actually keep going on this matter, but I don't want to. Especially I don't want to get to 30 minutes. And it's getting close to 25. So with that being said, it's your boy Will My Craven. Hit that like and subscribe button. Gladly appreciate it. And y'all enjoy the rest of your week. Be easy.